Simon, it's obviously a pleasure to have you back at FrightFest again.
Yes.
For those at home that are not familiar with the film that you've created, could you tell us a little bit about what it is?
Yeah, I have a film called Fashionista, and it's set in Austin, Texas, and it's about a woman who has an addiction to clothing, basically, and it's what happens when her life starts unraveling, with not very good consequences, of course.
As for most women, I believe. Now, obviously, as the writer and director of this film, where did the idea of this come from to begin with?
Well, people have asked this to me before, and it's usually about a 10-minute answer, but I'm going to try and make it succinct. But basically, I had a lot of different ideas that I kind of threw around, I suppose, in a melting pot, and this came out. But that was, partly wanting to work in Austin again, because there's amazing people who are good friends, who are great at their jobs, and we did Red, White and Blue, had a great experience. Part of it was working with Nicholas Roeg, who exec produced my previous film, Crowhurst, and he's pretty much my favorite director, and his non-linear kind of style of filmmaking is something I've always been astounded by, really. So I've always wanted to try something like what he does. So I thought, having worked with him on my previous film, if I'm going to do my Nicholas Roeg effort, then I should do it now, when he's still, within me. And then I'd worked with Amanda Fuller before, of course, in Red, White, and Blue. So I wrote that for her. And then in Austin, there's stuff about, there's all these vintage clothes shops, which is very much a fabric of what Austin is. And I wanted to do a film about consumerism and anti-consumerism, and with that came the idea of doing a kind of addiction movie, but with no drugs. So all those things kind of came together.
And look, from all that, it sounds like you've definitely hit the mark on this one. Now, obviously, as it's FrightFest, what do you feel? What do you think it is about the horror genre that really energizes all the people and brings them all together for this event?
Well, I think FrightFest has been going on forever, it seems, and it's an amazing experience. There's so many people here. It's a very warm experience. The guys who run are very nice people, and I think that warmth always comes from the top of wherever you are, and that just kind of personality and I think people enjoy coming here, basically experiencing the deaths, experiencing the trauma. And then occasionally experiencing the laughs, and then really being able to go away and talk about it at whatever pub they end up. So, it's ultimately it's a very good bonding experience for people who love films, and of course people who love seeing someone getting killed,
which we all do enjoy and love many times.
Yeah.
And obviously, for audiences that come away from seeing your film, what is it that you'd like for them to come away with in terms of what you've brought to this year?
Well, it's a film which is relatively unique, I would say. Obviously, unique is a different. Well, yeah, it's a relatively unique film. I hope people are exhausted by it. I hope they go away and actually think about it, because there's a lot of aspects to it. With all the conceits that I told you about, that there's a lot of things in the film which are almost subtext, really. So ultimately, it's about a woman who goes on a pretty tough journey. Becomes an addict, but then comes out the other side. So ultimately, it's a film about things getting better. Whereas most of my films have been fairly hardcore, kind of disturbing films where things have never got better. So if anything, as I get older, I try to be a bit more commercial. So it's saying there's a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, really.